Every year, the students at a school are given a musical aptitude test that rates them from 0, no musical aptitude, to 5, which is a high musical aptitude. This year's results are given in the frequency distribution. So, to calculate the sample standard deviation of this data, there's a couple different ways we can go. So these are the individual scores that students could have. And then these are the frequency with which those scores happened. So the number of students that are in this is, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 12, 13. There's 16 students that are included in this group altogether. So if we want to get the standard deviation by putting in data into L1, what I'll do is go into my list editor, and the thing that I have to pay attention to is I have a student's aptitude of 0 4 different times. So I would need to put the value 0 in 4 times. The value 1 occurs once, 2 occurs once, 3 occurs 6 times. So I'd put it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. 4 occurs once, and 5 occurs 3 times. So there's my actual data set. Now, if I were to calculate the sample standard deviation, I could just use the one-var stats. My data is in L1. I have no frequency list. Then press calculate, and I get a sample standard deviation, or actually is that... Oh, it is a sample. It's mentioned right here. So sample standard deviation. You always need to know that because the calculation of a sample standard deviation versus a population standard deviation is different. But this is a sample, so the sample standard deviation would be 1.83. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, that was kind of obnoxious to put in the frequencies by entering data items over and over and over again. Could there be an easier way? Well, I'm glad you asked that, because yes, there is. In fact, it's what this business about the frequency list is when we do our one-var stats. So we can put frequencies in a different list and take advantage of weighted statistics. Weighted statistics are a bit more advanced version of statistics, but they're very doable. What we're going to do, however, to take advantage of them, is in L1, we put the individual outputs. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In L2, we're going to put the frequencies for which those occur. So the value 0 occurs 4 times, 1 happens once, 2 happens once, 3 happens 6 times, 4 happens once, and 5 happens 3 times. Now, the calculator will interpret that correctly, provided that when you do your one-var stats, you give it a frequency list in L2, which is where we put it, but wherever you have it is fine. If you aren't seeing these menus, then what you're going to do instead, let me turn those off so you can see. You're going to hit stat, go over to the one-var stats, press second and 1 to get L1, and then comma, second and 2, and the comma is right above the 7. And that will give you the same effect. So either way, if you have the menus or not, go ahead and press enter at this point, and if you'll notice, the standard deviation is 1.83, the same as if we had gone through and separated out what those frequencies meant. So that's what's happening in weighted statistics.